Remember when you were young and everything in life seemed so much more fun and the possibilities seemed endless? Is that still the same for you, or has life become a serious business? Wherever you are, you can change it. What if more magic, fun, and possibilities were available to you right here, right now? Join Laura and Alun in the playground of possibility as they play, laugh, and explore new ways you can use to make your life more fun and to create more of what you desire.
Hello and welcome to Playground of Possibilities. Sorry, I'm laughing because I thought that the music went on a bit longer, so I'll have to sing a bit longer just so I can do the introduction. Welcome to the Playground of Possibilities, where we play.
Yay!
And this is Alan Jones with my gorgeous and playful, deliciously Lozzie-la-la, Laura Borland.
Hello, Miss Borland.
Miss Borland. Oh dear, it's going to be one of those.
And let the games begin.
Yeah, absolutely. And today, let it be known, I am known as Playboy Alan. So come to the chat room and play with me.
I just got that. I suppose I'm so slow. I was like, why is he calling himself Playboy Alan?
Because I'm a big slut, basically. So yes, we are playing. So come to the chat room, and actually let Laura tell you all about play. Plora, play.
So the write-up for today's show is we were talking about play, and of course it's like, could you just get focused and serious, please, just for 10 seconds?
Absolutely.
Is that too much
serious
to ask?
play.
So what does play mean to you? Do you think it's something just for kids? Are you too busy sorting and fixing things in a never-ending to-do list to have time to indulge in play? And when was the last time that you truly played so much so that you forgot yourself? What if play was like a doorway into a world that you have not yet experienced, but that you somehow know is there? Do you know, it's funny, it's like there's actually builders who are working in the house where I'm living just now, and so one of them, and they know that I do this radio show because it's like they don't make noise when I'm doing this, which is really kind of them. Anyway, the guy says to me, "So what's today's show about?" And I said, "Play." And he said, "Play with what?" And I was like, not sure I want to go here. And I was just like, when you just kind of like, you play, we're all really serious, and he was just, and I was like, you can create more when you play, and he was just looking at me like, you're mental, and I was like, I want this conversation to end.
I think you just blew his world apart.
Well, all I could think was play with bodies, and I thought, I'm not going there.
Yeah, playing with myself, playing with bodies, perhaps shouldn't receive either of those, which is a shame.
But it's so true. It's like, how often do it's like, people, in fact, someone I was talking to earlier today, and they were just, life is hard and then you die.
Yeah.
It's like, what's life all about? And my reply was, what if it's just about playing, having fun?
Life's a bitch, then you die.
Exactly, and it's just kind of like, what if it's actually the upside downness of the world is that it is all about playing, and it's almost like a double bluff, because we think it's about kind of like getting it done and being serious, and what if the joke is on us because actually it's just about playing?
Yeah, I mean, everything is the opposite of what it appears to be, isn't it? Like, and you're allowed. When did we start being told to take life more seriously? And for me, I guess that started around about 5 years old.
Yeah.
When you first start going to school, and before that I would just play. I would play in my room. I would just play all the time, as much as possible. Well, everything was play. My food was play. My life was play. And then you start going to school, and then you get told in your class, and be serious. Yeah. Be serious. Be serious. Be serious. Life is a serious business. It's like, and you just knock all of the play out of these kids. All of the kids who think that play is fun, then start to believe that they're bad and wrong, and that they shouldn't play and muck around. I mean,
and what if play is magic?
Yeah, absolutely. What if play is magic?
Eleanor's listening on the line. I wonder if Eleanor wants to come play with us. What do you think?
Eleanor, do you want to come and say hello? Hello!
Come on, Eleanor, come and say hello to us. How cool would that be?
Hi, Alan. Hi, Laura.
Hello.
Hi, Eleanor.
You're awesome.
You really put me in a spot right now because I'm in the middle of technological difficulties. I'm listening on the phone.
Right.
But I had a problem. I spilled a glass of water on my MacBook last night. So I'm here on the Kindle. So I'm getting through with the podcast, but every time I press the listen live, it's not connecting. So I'm here on the phone. But yeah, play. I love how Alan just said that play is magic. That just kind of hit a little exciting nerve there for me. Yeah, there are times that a question out of that one for me would be, what happens to me with play? Sometimes it's very, very easy when I'm in that flow, and when I drop all the threats of judgment or criticism. But then there are times where it hits a nerve that is similar to my past, where there was an authority figure or a parent, and then I start shutting down because I'm waiting for the fear of judgment or criticism, and then I'm trying to do all the right things and be the perfect little girl so nobody sees anything wrong with me.
And isn't it really funny how judgment just completely kills the play dead, because then we become so focused on getting it right and being and doing right, and actually what about that is playful? Absolutely nothing.
It's an energy that comes up. You know what? I become very quiet. That's exactly what happens. When that energy comes up, I say to him, what is this? What is this? Sometimes it annoys because it's very obvious now when it comes up. I guess that is the good news of awareness. And I ask him, what is this? What is this? And I get annoyed with it. I think there's somewhere that I'm making myself wrong. What would it take to be in complete acknowledgement and accept and an allowance of that? An allowance.
And what would it take to just be an allowance of the fact that it's like, sometimes you choose to play and sometimes you don't. So sometimes you allow yourself and sometimes you don't, and just to be okay with that, whatever it is.
I get that, Laura, but I want to play all the time.
Oh, you lack playing all the time, do you?
I do. And if your workman wants to play, I'll play with him too.
Actually, he'd probably be quite up for that.
So, Eleanor, when you're in that space where you're playing and then it starts to be shut down, who are you being? Because that, and that's a question that somebody very awesome gave to me in the last couple of days. It's like, whenever you find yourself closing yourself down in that way, or kind of, just who am I being? Because would an infinite being choose to play all the time? Just a question.
Yeah, yes, the answer to that would be yes. And who am I being is... It's more of an energy than a person. I can trace it back to childhood, but it's the lingering energy of who am I being.
Yeah, and who or what, and it's like, and everything that you're not allowed, everything that's not you being the infinite being you are. Do you want to just destroy and uncreate it and give it all up?
Yes.
So, fuck it. Right, wrong, good, band, pop, pod, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
Fire
me! Slap me, Dane and Gary. Come on, spank my ass. Because so it's like, and are you willing to be? It's like everywhere you're unwilling to receive judgment, because judgment is just an interesting point of view, and I know it's really easy for me to say that. It's really, because I know what it's like when I'm kind of there, but, when I know that people are judging me or judging themselves, that I'm picking up on it, and it's just like, do you know what? Barriers down, expand. Barriers down, expand. Expand.
But what if it's also just a bunch of thinking? It's a bunch of thinking, and actually somewhere we've bought it as real and true, and it's just a bunch of thinking.
Yeah.
And actually, isn't it funny how if I said to you, hey, tell yourself you're a green monster with like pink polka dots, you'd be like, yeah, that's stupid. But it's like tell ourselves that we're not enough in some shape, way, or form, or we're getting it wrong, and we'll like, oh, we'll take that one.
Yeah.
And it's just the same.
But the good news in that one, because I have a lot of time on my hand because I broke my wrist a few weeks ago, so in a lot of ways I did create this time. So it really has opened me up to questions and asking, who is this and what is this? It's been more like, what is this? You know, really looking at the old energies that really, you know, I don't like them anymore. I really don't like them. So it's just looking at them at a much deeper sense, and I just want to get it to a place of more allowance in them rather than being irritated and in ways judging myself for them.
Absolutely. And Eleanor, it's rather than necessarily always asking, you know, what is this? Because that's a great question. What if you could also just ask, rather than going into what is it, because that can sometimes get us into that monkey mind, is asking, okay, what else can I choose instead right now that feels more fun for me?
And I think the
wow.
the expansion,
yeah,
that is also that, because I've been doing that also. I'm like, here's another chance to make yourself bigger than all of this, and you know, expanding out, and it's such relief, and you know, it gives me such a fullness when I do that.
Absolutely. Barriers down, barriers down, barriers down, expand, 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 just keep expanding, expand, expand, expand. Because it's like judgment is just not real, it's just an illusion. And who would you be without that thought? You know, Byron Katie would say, you know, is this true? Can I absolutely know it's true? And who would I be without this thought? It's like, yeah.
And isn't it funny how so often we just, it's like, because we do mean that question, do we know this is true? And actually, so often it's not, although it feels like true because we're feeling it.
Yeah.
But actually, something that's become increasingly funny for me is it's like how that we tend to kind of like, when we're creating our stories in our head, how we tend to go to the worst case scenario as a matter of default often.
Yeah, that's the question. What's the worst thing that's going to happen?
And it's never true. It really isn't.
Exactly, and it's like, and I think there's something so funny around that, and it's like, you know, and again, it's like when we're in the worst case scenario, generally speaking, that's when I'm in my head, and it's like, wow, so what could begin to play with us, and what else is possible, and if that weren't the case, what other possibilities could I see here?
Yeah.
Because play is a really gentle energy for me.
Right.
It is. It's so light. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you so much, Alan.
And thank you that you came. Thank you that you played with us when we put you on the spot, Eleanor.
I loved it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Eleanor. And keep on listening. And if you feel like coming back again later on, then give us a shout. But I think we're about to go to break shortly. So thank you so much for playing.
My pleasure. I'm so excited. Thank you.
So, Ms. Laura, play is light. Sorry, I keep saying that, don't I? I'm in this kind of Ms. Laura Borland. She's my sexy, gorgeous playmate.
Too funny. Awesome. Yeah.
It is, because in case anyone's listening, you know, Laura is, she really, well, I know I'm going to really put you on the spot here, Laura, but you are sexy and gorgeous. The sad thing for me, of course, is that you have the wrong frontal arrangement to do anything with it. So, but
that's just a point of view.
It totally is. Well, not the wrong point. You know, you don't have the wrong frontal arrangement, just a different frontal arrangement to my preference.
You have the points in the wrong places.
Yeah, you have the points of perspective in the wrong place. Oh my lord! I think we should probably go to break before I get myself into trouble and Laura runs away.
Okay.
So we'll be back after these adverts.
Were you told as a child to grow up, act your age, and stop being childish? And were you made to feel wrong for choosing to have fun? Is that still the same for you now that you're an adult? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you created it with more fun, more ease, and in the knowledge that far more choices and possibilities are always available to you? Tune in to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alan Jones who have fun playing with tools, techniques, and ideas that will inspire you to create more fun, more possibilities, and more magic in your life. Do you want to play? Listen for the Playground of Possibilities radio show every Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alan Jones. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 4433-0001-0625. Or Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also email us questions or comments by sending emails to playgroundofpossibilities@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
And welcome back to the Playground of Possibilities with myself, Laura Borland, and my very lovely playmate, Alan Jones.
Hello. I'm still playing. I always want to hum along with the music, so I'm going to have to mute myself, because one day I'm sure I'm going to do it.
I think that's totally cool if you want to do that. I have no point of view about that.
Okay.
So, what is right about play that we don't often get? That's a nice question. What is right about play that we don't often get? It's too irreverent, it's too stupid, it's not the way to succeed.
Oh, that's totally it, isn't it? You know, it's not the way to succeed. You have to be, it's serious business, and if you want people to take you seriously, absolutely. It's like, and if you want to be taken as a serious coach, you know, somebody once said to me, I have a profile picture that I use sometimes as I change them around, and it's a picture of me just tipping my head back, roaring with laughter, which, you know, surprisingly you'll find I don't do very often. And someone once messaged me on LinkedIn and said that's not a very professional photograph. People aren't taking you seriously, and it's like, oh, you know. And I went into this massive beyond, and you know, kind of making myself wrong for having this photograph of me laughing.
Wow, isn't it interesting though when it's just like that? That's not very professional. It's like, what does that mean?
I know, and who are they judging, me or themselves? But yeah.
Welcome, Parachute Dave. Parachute Dave. Why are you calling yourself Parachute Dave?
Is that because you're parachuting in?
You're parachuting into play! Yay! Someone else has come to the party.
How does it get better? How does it get more playful than this? That's what I want to know.
So,
how does it?
In the write-up, we talked about what if play was like a doorway into a world that you've not yet experienced, and actually that sort of reminded me of kind of like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
When it's like, you know, or, you know, even like, you know, the Tales of Narnia when they went through the back of the wardrobe, and it's just kind of like, you know, I don't know, when the world is a world of play, it just feels so much more exciting and fun, and
Yeah, I agree. I think, and you know, all of those things, you know, Alice through the looking glass, Alice kind of jumping down the hole, and the Narnia books and stuff, and all of that, you know. And do you remember that program, Mr. Ben? You know, he used to go into the changing room, and that was kind of a door, and he would change into different stuff. And it's like, you know, we can, when we step into play, we step out of all of the limitation and judgment that we've been putting on ourselves.
Absolutely. I'm getting a bit waylaid here with all the chat that's going on in it.
I know there's some fantastic stuff going on. So in the chat room, it's like
Mr. Dress Up. What? What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Ben, I thought you were talking about Parachute Dave. Please.
No, and then
sorry, Dave.
So
or maybe not.
Well, yeah, he might be lovely to dress up in his parachute. But there are a couple of things that I in answer to the question in relation to this, it's like money follows joy. And, when you're in that space of play, you're stepping out of those limitations. So Christine's saying money follows joy and playing brings joy. Play equals money. And, and Bree says, I'd rather do business with somebody laughing than with someone with a stone cold face. And it's like when you're in that play, when you step through, I want to sing that song, you step through the keyhole, and so you step through this kind of keyhole of, or this kind of mirror or, a doorway of possibilities. And you can, you just step out of limitation when you're in play. Because do you ever look at a child and does a child kind of go, oh no, my cars can't fly?
Yeah,
they just pick, I just used to pick my cars up and make them fly.
And it's really funny. I had a conversation with somebody earlier, and we were talking about business. Excuse me. And where we got to with it was that we were saying that even if you're focusing on the outcome, you've stopped playing. So there's all these subtleties that kind of shift the energy away from playing, because it's like if it's about playing, then it's just about the joy of the creation of the expression.
Absolutely, because when you're playing, is there an end result that lets you know you've played?
No, you're just doing it for the fun of it, and actually if it happens to create something, then wonderful. Well, it will create something. It creates kind of joy, and it creates kind of lightness and expansiveness, but it's about doing it with no point of view. And it's like, and what I noticed when I was talking to this person about business was I noticed how subtle my shift and focus kept going between the outcome and the play. And it was just really interesting to notice how I kept going into the outcome, and I was like, I'm not playing. Every time I step into the outcome, I'm not playing.
And that's the thing, and unless you make the outcome not meaningful and significant.
Yeah.
For
and
me.
Be curious about what it's going to create rather than having a point of view.
Absolutely. So, do you remember Spirograph?
No.
Do you remember that?
Oh, is that the thing where you put your pen and you made lots of shapes, and it's like
yeah.
I loved it actually.
Absolutely. So I don't know if anyone, Christine's saying she loved it too. So Spirograph, for those people who don't know, is this kind of thing that you had as a child. It was, so you put your piece of paper on in front of you, and you'd put these kind of plastic shapes, and then you put your pen in one of the shapes, and you'd kind of move it around, and it would do all these kind of geometric shapes, and you had no idea how it was going to turn out, and there were no kind of rules about it. You just played with it, or Etch-a-Sketch. Anything like that, it was just like there was no attachment to, and if you didn't like it, you would just chuck the piece of paper away and get a new one. There was no I failed or it's wrong or any of that stuff. Do you know what I mean? It was just play from the sheer fun of it. And Kathy's put in the chat room here, creative play, creation play, and absolutely, Laura. I mean, that's kind of so with what you were saying about get out of the result and just into the play.
But what's really interesting is it's the absolute antithesis of how this reality operates. The absolute antithesis, because if we were sitting in a very kind of like traditional linear kind of like way of conducting business, people would be actually looking at us like we'd taken our clothes off and we're doing handstands. They would be like, that's certifiable. Because it's such an interesting.
Don't go visual, people.
Don't go visual. Where did that come from?
Take your clothes off and do handstands. Oh, talking of that. No, different story. Bright, shiny things. Carry on.
Anyway, Annalie, that's really interesting because, going visual with that, it made me then think, wow, and so there's actually a vulnerability, and there's a vulnerability in play.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's a
Naked
vulnerability.
Spirograph. This is Kathy in the chat room. Sorry, I had to chuck that in.
Too funny. Naked Spirograph. In fact, actually, did you see there's a really amazing woman called, I forget her name, Amy, and she's basically She was an artist, and she basically was like a bride that stood on so she's a street performer, and she basically stood on this box, and she said that she felt more connection. So when someone put money in, gave her money, and that's how she made her living for about 10 years. And when someone came and put money in, it's like she actually leant forward and really engaged them with her eyes and gave them a flower. And she talked about the absolute connection and the vulnerability, but actually there was also something she did with music where afterwards I think she stood naked and let her fans draw on her.
Wow.
And it just made me think around, so there's a real play there, but what a vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
so thank you for saying naked spirograph, Kathy.
Absolutely, and when it comes to being naked, it's not always just about kind of dropping our clothes. It's like it's about having, for me, naked is like also having no barriers. Naked doesn't necessarily mean I have to go around telling everyone everything about me. It just means dropping all of my barriers and going, do you know what? That's what, for me, vulnerability is about. It's about just being completely open and in oneness with people around me. And, again, that willingness to play in vulnerability and play with vulnerability and play with having no barriers up at all.
And on you go.
So, if you're playing and you have like judgments around, am I playing properly? Like we've got some friends who play games with us, and one of them is just, what are the rules? What are the rules of the game? And I just find myself shutting down.
Can I just, I adore, so I adore my mum, and I have a nephew who I also adore, who's 4. And when my mum plays with my nephew, she becomes 4 too. And what's really fascinating is my sister is trying to teach her son about the rules, and my mum breaks the rules left, right and centre. To such a point that we were playing some ridiculous card game, and my mum, it was a really low coffee table, can I just point out, but my mum ended up standing on we were all playing Snap, that was it. My mum ended up standing on this coffee table poised over to be ready to like play Snap. And it was just like, but my sister was getting really mad because she wasn't playing by the rules, and then it all went a bit belly up because of course it all ended in tears. But it was hysterical watching my mum just like completely forgetting herself. She was so in the play of it.
Yeah.
That it was it was pure joy for her.
Absolutely, because how cross do people get with us when we make up these kind of seemingly arbitrary rules about what life should be like, or other people have these arbitrary rules, and when we get cross with other people for not playing by the rules, it's like so for me it's like certain Facebook groups will they'll say you only post this kind of thing in here, and then I see people kind of posting adverts in there, and I used to get really cross with them, and now I just think, do you know what, good for you, because what would it take just not to care about that kind of,
But what's also really funny is actually, as you say that, playing by the rules strikes me as really funny. Because if you're playing by the rules, there's actually no play in it. It's actually obeying the rules is what is really meant.
Absolutely. And, how many rules have we decided that we need to obey in order to create our lives? And how many of those rules are we even aware of that we're following? So Ellen has just asked a great question. She says, what energy, space and consciousness can me and my body be without any outcome in mind?
And actually, Kathy, I do have an awesome mum. My mum is all about playing. Honestly, there's a brilliant story. Just into the break is a brilliant story. She was playing darts with my dad one time when she was quite young, and he was winning, and she was a bit annoyed that he was winning, so she poked him in the eye. Not with a dart. She just poked him in the eye with her finger so that actually he could then win. I just love that. But anyway, so what do you think? Should we go to break?
Yes, let's do that.
Bree, take us to break.
Were you told as a child to grow up, act your age, and stop being childish? And were you made to feel wrong for choosing to have fun? Is that still the same for you now that you're an adult? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you created it with more fun, more ease, and in the knowledge that far more choices and possibilities are always available to you? Tune in to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones, who have fun playing with tools, techniques, and ideas that will inspire you to create more fun, more possibilities, and more magic in your life. Do you want to play? Listen for the Playground of Possibilities radio show every Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that when run assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alun Jones. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 4433-0001-0625. Or Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also email us questions or comments by sending emails to playgroundofpossibilities@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to Playground of Possibilities with I was replying in the chat with myself, Laura Borland, and my gorgeous co-host Alun Jones.
That's hilarious. I wanted to do that last time. I was just like, who am I? What's my name? Where's the handbag?
Where's my handbag? There it is.
What fun.
Laura. Tell Laura I love her. So Laura, I love her. I love playing with my Laura. So, how can we bring more play into every area of our life? And are there areas that it's wrong to have play in?
You know, it's really interesting that you're saying that because I had a wonderful coaching session with a guy this morning who is an ops director in quite a big charity. And I've been working with these guys on and off for maybe about 15 months. And now they're all starting to talk about play in the organisation, and it's just phenomenal. And play for them is really around kind of like lightness. It's about talent. It's about contribution, and so I don't know. For me, it's just about finding people who are looking and open for that, and being that invitation with no point of view around kind of like I don't need to convince anyone, you know. It's like there's people who I'm working with in other places and they're very serious, and I'm just kind of like, you know, cool, good for you. It's like, but actually for me, it's like I have so much more fun when I'm playing.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, play, I think, for me is can be different for different people. And I think, you know, there are certain, you know, I used to work in investment banking, and, you know...
No!
Yeah,
you did not.
I did work in investment banking, and I was in the human resources department, and I used to get told off for laughing too loudly.
Yeah.
So I didn't stop. I carried on laughing because, you know, that's just who I am. And what was interesting was even then... before I even, you know, I didn't know anything about access consciousness then, but even then, being in that environment, I would look at my meeting diary and just kind of go, okay, who am I meeting, and how can I, you know, what's required?
You know, it's funny you're saying that, because I've actually started to notice that when I'm doing things that I have a point of view that they are no fun or whatever, it's like I've started to ask myself, so how can I play with this?
Yeah.
And it's just really interesting how, Fiona Cutts last week was talking about, that whole thing about a question can just open up an energy. Just really interesting by even saying, what fun can I have with this, or how can I play with this, and actually how it can just begin to. It's magic. It's actually magic, because I have no idea how that works, but it's almost just. It's like a magic wand, because it takes me into a different space with it.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Asking a question such as, how can I play here, or for me, it would be also, what can this person receive?
Yeah, there is that.
Because,
but sometimes I want to play even when they can't receive it.
Yeah, I know. And there are those people who, I remember having a coaching session with this guy once, and I was kind of all my fluffy, loud, kind of laughy, the occasional fuck here and there, and I realised after it took me 10 minutes, because I was quite slow then, and I just looked at this guy and I went, it's not working for you, is it? And that's the first time he smiled, and he went, no. I went, I think you'd be better off with a different coach. And actually, for the rest of the session, I said, look, we may as well just kind of carry on. And actually, he lightened up when he was willing to see he was aware that I could adapt my style, and I could still have fun.
Yeah. Because, it's really interesting that you say that, because I'm thinking that, so rather than kind of us just showing up and playing, like being us regardless, there's almost like something around kind of like, so sometimes it's like, when I ask what is required, and sometimes it's like working with people who are maybe like, just quieter or more introvert, that actually for me it can be quite fun kind of like playing with them. And then I love that actually as they expand, I can expand, and so they do play, but it's about working with them to enable them to take the lead, rather than kind of like hitting them over the head with like where we're at with it.
Absolutely, and you hit the nail on the head there. It's like sometimes with some people you ease them in gently rather than kind of rushing in and going, hello,
Do you ever have a thing where it's like you're so excited, and it's like, I used to have this really yummy flatmate that I used to stay with years ago, and I used to say to her, sometimes I'd text her and I'd be like, brace yourself, I'm really excited and I'm on my way home. Because it's like actually sometimes recognising that's a bit much for other people.
Yeah, especially Bill's like that in the morning. I don't, I've kind of learned that Bill in the morning is not kind of, because I'm jumpy and happy and kind of all bouncy in the morning with the kind of stuff around, and I think that doesn't work for Bill, and it's also not a kindness if I try and force that on him.
No.
So it's like, what would be play for Bill at this time of the morning? And
that's really interesting, because how often do we try and force play on people and they resist it, and actually it goes badly wrong.
Yeah. And then we make ourselves wrong for it. We go, oh my God, I really misjudged that. Oh my God, I'm really stupid, and I really should. And then we're like this pendulum. We go from, if I do the complete opposite and go really serious, which is what happened at, because this manager in the investment bank said to me, you muck around too much and I want to see you more serious with the managers. So I did exactly as I was told. I thought, right, fuck you, I'm going to do exactly as you're telling me to do. And so I pendulumed back, I was really, really serious, and all the managers... How long
did it last for?
About 2 weeks, until the managers came to my manager and said, what's wrong with Alan, is he okay? Because he doesn't muck around anymore, we're worried about him, we think he's stressed.
Yes.
And she just said to me, do you know what? Just do it your way, because it works with them. She was absolutely brilliant. She was willing to see the value that my play with the client base that I had worked. And, how often do we pendulum back? I must do the opposite of what I'm doing in order for me to create something different. And that just doesn't work.
And how often do we actually try and pretend to be something we're not in order to fit, when actually it's like when our nature is, so there's some people who it's like are more disposed to playing than others, and that's not a right or a wrongness, it's just, or maybe they've just done it more or chosen it more, who knows, but it's almost just like being true to yourself. And it's like, and actually, because there's something around, I don't know about you, but it's like there's often times where people think I'm stupid, playful, and I am so not stupid. And it's
no.
But there was points where I was just like, maybe I should be like facile, and it's like the judgment was just like, and now I just actually it makes me play more because I think it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's a bit like, when we first started doing the radio show, and you and I both went into kind of judgment of ourselves. I was thinking, oh my God, I've listened to some of the other radio shows, and
we're not serious enough.
Well, yeah, I think we're not serious enough, and we don't do enough clearing stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And I thought, do you know what? Bollocks. People come to their show because and there are some fantastic shows. I'm not saying they're not fantastic at all, because they are brilliant. They're just different. It's like comparing apples with bananas and going, why can't I make an apple crumble? Well, go make a chocolate and banana crumble,
Yeah.
So
and actually I secretly think that we want to be in Comedy Central. Or maybe not so secretly.
Well, yeah. If anybody's listening, is there any talent agents out there? Bring on the X Factor. Keep it real. Secretly, Christine's saying. Secretly?
I know.
Secretly?
I know. I was just like, it's an open secret. But so, in terms of like, if anyone's listening, actually, to be honest, if anyone's not up for playing, it's like they'll have stopped listening to this about 3 minutes in.
Well, yeah. This is true.
But I'm just wondering, it's like in terms of if people were looking to have more play in their life, actually I'm playing with a beautiful cat as I'm talking to you, and it's like I'm stroking her and she's dancing around me. It's very, very lovely. But if people were looking to play more in their life, it's like, what would you say to them?
Oh God, I knew you were going to ask that, because I was hoping to get that question in for you first. So, yeah, I mean, for me, it would immediately be straight back into asking questions and what can I choose? So I would first of all, there are so many things that
Pick one.
Yeah, pick one. So for me, it'd be like, there are two main things that I would do. One would be, what can I choose today that will be more fun for me right away? That's a question that I would ask. What can I choose today that will be more fun for me right away? And I would ask that in the morning. And I mean, actually, I'd probably ask all day. And I would also do some of the stuff from, I would get my bars run. If you've never heard of Access Bars, anyone here listening, go to accessconsciousness.com and have a look, because Access Bars for me has helped me clear so much stuff around having my bars run. Has cleared a lot of those judgments and stuff. So for me, it's like, what does play mean to me? And then I just let go of it. Destroy and uncreate it and use the clearing statement, or use EFT, or use whatever you use. Because for me, it's like, let go of the meaning of play and what you've bought as the meaning as play, and just go, what would be, and just ask, what would be fun for me?
And it's like I really like that. It's like Kathy's saying, it's like about comedy consciousness, and actually Eleanor had said, universe, show me more play. And as I was listening to you, what it made me think of is, and sometimes our energy is just not in a space of play, and to not make ourselves wrong for that, but just to actually be kind with ourselves. Because have you ever tried to force yourself to play? How fake is it? It's like,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like, what do you say to that? It's like, it just doesn't help. And going back to the question earlier on, it's like, it's not a kindness to try and force ourselves to play.
No.
Or play, and that for me again is like, where we've decided what play is, we try and force ourselves to do that play. Whereas asking in this 10 seconds, what does play mean for me in this 10 seconds?
Yeah.
And play could be making a coffee, or listening to a piece of music, or dancing around the house, or just being silent, or calling a friend. It's like, don't limit what play can be. It's like, what would be play for me right now?
Actually, that's so true, because it's like, you think of children, it's like they have no, I remember, it's like actually Sam, my nephew and I, it's like we made this crazy game with a bit of string, and I don't know, a bunch of stuff, and it's like, and we played for ages, and I just thought, this is amazing. It's just like, because most people looking at this would be like, how can you play with that? And so what if it's actually possible to play with anything when we let go of the definitions of what play is?
Absolutely. So should we play with that a little bit more after the break?
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, let's do that. Take it away, Bree!
Were you told as a child to grow up, act your age, and stop being childish? And were you made to feel wrong for choosing to have fun? Is that still the same for you now that you're an adult? Have you ever wondered what your life would be like if you created it with more fun, more ease, and in the knowledge that far more choices and possibilities are always available to you? Tune in to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alan Jones, who have fun playing with tools, techniques, and ideas that will inspire you to create more fun, more possibilities, and more magic in your life. Do you want to play? Listen for the Playground of Possibilities radio show every Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on A2Zen.fm.
What would you say if I told you that you could change your life in only 1 hour and all while lying down relaxing? Thousands of people all over the world have. What am I talking about? It's called Access Consciousness, the bars. The bars is an energetic body process that contains 32 different points on your head that, when run, assist you in releasing decisions about any area of your life that you have made solid and as a result cannot change. The bars is the first class in Access Consciousness, a dynamic set of tools and information designed to transform any area of your life. When you have a bars session, the worst that can happen is you feel like you had a fantastic massage. The best thing that can happen is your whole life could change. Go to accessconsciousness.com today to find a facilitator to schedule a private session or to find a bars class in your area. Are you willing to give yourself an hour to change your life?
This is the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alan Jones. To participate in the program today, please call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736. In the UK, 4433-0001-0625. Or Skype us at A2Zen.fm. You can also email us questions or comments by sending emails to playgroundofpossibilities@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hello and welcome back to the Playground of Possibilities, where we generally talk off the top of our heads and have fun.
What do you mean?
What
we
happens.
planned. We've scripted this. How dare you? How very dare you?
And you know, I was just thinking that I really like that. What would it take to choose the... What are you doing?
I'm playing with my pen. Sorry.
Okay, and also I really like that question, Eleanor. What would it take to choose the energy of play? That's everyone's homework or home play or play work for the week.
Absolutely.
Because actually, this feels like a good time to tell people that when we're talking about the show and what it requires, that we were talking doing play this week, and then next week is play with bodies, and then we're doing play with money, and we're doing play with intimacy, and play with all the other things that I forget. So we're kind of on a bit of a... I know, that's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Hi, I'm going to tell you about this thing, I mostly forget.
But that's because it would be a nice surprise. See, that was scripted
Surprise!
part where you're enticing them in. You know, you're a bit like Cilla Black. Surprise, surprise! You know? So, yes.
And note to self, the show does not finish at 1 minute 30 this week. It finishes at 30.
We'll have to wait and see. It's a surprise. So, yeah, that coming back to that question that Eleanor put, you know, what would it take to choose the energy of play? You know, for me as well, it would be what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to be the energy of play, or be the space and energy of play for all eternity. And that, you know, I just immediately space out as I kind of do that. And, you know, that as a, you know, listen to the replay of the show, write it down, pop it on a loop, you know, do some of these questions because they can be really helpful to start your day.
Actually, you know, it's funny. I mean, I know we mess about only a wee bit. No, it's like actually laughter is a wonderful, wonderful way to play. I don't know about for you, but certainly for me, when I can laugh, especially at myself, it's almost like playing with myself in terms of lightening up and just having more ease rather than kind of like, I must get it right. And so, you know, it's like the capacity to laugh at ourselves is a kind of play.
Absolutely, and it is that not taking ourselves too seriously, but also serious enough. I don't know what serious is not quite the word I mean, but it's like not taking ourselves too seriously, but also appreciating the gift and contribution we are for everything that we are. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like having an awareness, but not taking it seriously and not making it significant.
Yes, absolutely, because someone sitting there crying because something really dreadful has happened, sitting there and telling them a joke is probably not the most, the best contribution to be in that particular moment. But my mother's just died. It's really sad. Well, hey, at least you don't have to buy her a Christmas present anymore.
Kathy said something. Going global here with Play. Yeah, what would it take? And imagine if people did play with politics.
Yeah,
it's just like, yeah.
Because I was thinking that earlier on, and I got distracted. I was going to say, could you imagine, because there are certain places where play is just not relevant, and the House of Commons, or the houses that you have in America, it's like how serious these places are meant to be, because you have to take them seriously.
But what strikes me as really funny is they're all playing a game. It's just that they don't know they're playing a game, and so from my point of view, that seems quite funny.
Absolutely. So, again, when you start your day, some of the tools you use, so, you could use the Access Consciousness mantra, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. Joy, 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 joy. And,
so
it's like...
Yeah, joy doesn't have to be big and exuberant. Joy can be like...
No.
It can show up in many, many different forms. So it's like, what if, like play, we could just give up all our definitions of joy?
Absolutely. Games people play all the time. Absolutely, Kathy. It's like, and where have we made play that kind of, you're just playing with me, rather than, do you know what I mean, you're toying with me, you're tormenting me. Where have we misidentified and misapplied play as tormenting? Yeah.
And just as you're saying that, it's making me think that completely not in any cerebral note at all, just that next week's show we are actually doing a pre-record, and we're doing it tomorrow night at 7 o'clock 7 o'clock UK time, so I have no idea what time that is anywhere else in the world, but it would just be really awesome to have... Oh, you're good. It would be really awesome if people wanted to come and play, and we're talking about bodies. So if anyone's got any curiosity around bodies, or kind of like talking about that, it would be brilliant if you wanted to come. I think people can come and play with us in the chat room, and then there's a Skype thing. Is that right?
Yeah, if you Skype in, so if you add a2zen.fm to your Skype, you can then Skype in or call in, and you can listen to the show that way. So people can definitely, and then so you can come in the chat room and play, but you can hear us on Skype, and obviously Skype is free, so Skype us in, and come and play with bodies tomorrow night. So 7 o'clock UK, 2 p.m. Eastern, which makes that 11 a.m. Pacific.
Yes! Oh my God, I'm so impressed with you.
Well,
where did you pull that from?
Well, Christine and I have been having a lot of fun with me to kind of kind of mucking around with 5 hours difference and all that. Ooh, we've got 1 minute, so we've got 30 seconds to go. So let's bugger off and see. 30 seconds.
I wonder. So just in terms of like, I wonder if we could just kind of like, what fun could we have, and what could we create in our worlds just by being aware of play, when we're choosing it, when we're not choosing it, and what it contributes when we do. Lighten up, right? Let's play. Absolutely, Kathy. Let's play.
Let's play. See you all tomorrow. Play with bodies.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Playground of Possibilities radio show with Laura Borland and Alan Jones. We hope you enjoyed playing with us today, and that you'll come play with us next Monday at 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific on a2zen.fm. Until then, what would it take for you to enjoy playing with choices and possibilities to create more fun, more magic, and more of everything you desire? What will you choose to